Hey guys, this is Chad with Take One Film and Video here in Nashville, Tennessee, and thanks for joining us back here. Well, we're going to do something a little bit different today. I want to talk about something that happens here in our office quite a bit. We get calls from customers all the time asking, why is there such a discrepancy in the price of certain gear? For instance, switchers, VTRs, whatever it may be. Sometimes similar spec items cost vastly different. And there's a reason for that, and I want to highlight some of those points today and talk about that, because it's really important to understand that there's no free lunch. You do get what you pay for. It's a universal rule, and you can't get around it. But it's okay as long as you understand what those limitations are and can accept those limitations. And if you can do that, you're going to be happy with your results. It's when you have expectations greater than what the product will deliver, well, that's often when we get frustrated and disappointed. And so let's dive into it. Let's talk about why that is. Now, first of all, I'm not going to mention any brands because, truthfully, we at Take One, we sell low cost and the high cost products in the video production broadcast realm. And I don't feel like this video needs to be something that's going to be disparaging to one brand or elevating one over another, because the way that I see that, it's like tools in your toolbox. I mean, there's often times where you can use a cheap screwdriver and a cheap tool and get the job done perfectly well and fine. And there's other jobs that are going to require more expensive, specialized tools to do the job you need to do. Video production gear is frankly the same way. It's just having the right tools to do the right job and managing your expectations. So let's dive into it and talk about the differences. The first point I'm going to make is really going to be the reliability. The reliability is important because there's often, for broadcast TV stations, people that run production often 24/7. It's important to know that equipment is going to run. And so when you buy high cost items from manufacturers that sell some of the higher end or higher cost products, those products are going to be expected to run 24/7, 5 years or 10 years or more. And that's part of the reason that people do make that investment into products, because those products are typically going to be built very tough. They're going to have redundant power supplies. They're going to be built with the very best materials, and all of those things come at a price. There's also going to be more R&D. There's going to be there's going to be materials in there that are going to make these things get built so that they can withstand operating for long extended periods of time, managing temperatures. There's going to be fans and ways to cool the product, and frankly, again, those things do come at a cost. Some of the lower cost items that might be similarly spec'd often are not going to have a lot of the cooling mechanisms and certain things. They often run really hot, and sometimes they freeze up and require rebooting. So if it's important that your equipment runs reliably, runs all the time, 24/7 for years, you need to go ahead and consider making the investment to spend a little more money on those products. And if it's something that's going to be turned on and off occasionally and used, and it's not something that's you're going to be live, it's not something that has to work at that moment, something if it freezes up and you got to reboot it, that's okay. Then you can get away with some of the lower cost items that will probably work just fine. The other thing I want to talk about is the feature set. Feature sets are important because that's where people often get the most confused. They'll see a switcher or anything, monitor, video recorder, and there's going to be an assumption that those products will do certain things maybe that they're used to, especially if you're like me and you come from the broadcast world and you're used to running with or operating very expensive higher end products. You're going to expect things to just have certain features on them because frankly they always have. Well, in the low-cost world, that is not always the case. In fact, sometimes a lot of those things are deemed unimportant or used to save costs. And for example, I'll give you an example. If you buy a higher-end video recorder, it's more than likely going to have something as simple as a headphone jack. You're not going to really think much about it. You want to see if there's something on there, you plug a headset in. But a lower-cost item is probably going to eliminate something like that. It could be gen lock if you're going to be using for playback. So the point is you really need to go online, check the specs, see what that product has, and if there's something that's important, make sure that product has it and it's under the right format or whatever it is that you need to know. Make sure that you find it in writing that product will do what you want it to do, and don't make any assumption that there will be any extra features or feature sets on that product. Even something as simple as a headset, it may not be there on the lower cost items, but that's for a reason. Again, it's lower cost because they were able to save money on certain things. So just make sure to check those specs very, very tightly. And so moving on to the next item is going to be customer service. Now, this is a real big one because oftentimes when you have products that, whether they're expensive or whether they're low-cost products, there's always going to be either problems. Sometimes you get failures. Sometimes things show up. They're electronics. Look, they just fail. They have issues. And sometimes there's technical issues that are maybe difficult to navigate that people need help with. Something you're unfamiliar with, or you're dealing with something and you just need somebody to say, hey, help me with this. We've got a show tonight and I've got this product I just bought. I need help. It's not working right. What do I do? So customer service is a huge part of the equation when it comes to video production, and there's nothing more important to us as a video reseller, dealer, and integrator than it is to support our customers. And so it's really important for us that we have chains of communication for manufacturers. We represent many, many manufacturers, and it's impossible for us to be complete experts on every manufacturer and know every in and out. So we really like being often sometimes in the higher end realm because those manufacturers have different channels of customer service representation that you can often find on weekends, late at night. There's often people 24/7 that can actually help you deal with any type of emergency situation when it comes to live production. Now, when it comes to the low-cost products, that's typically not going to be the case. What you're going to often find, and what we find even as dealers of some of the lower cost products, is that we don't have a manufacturer rep. We don't have a special customer service line or a backdoor number that we can call to be able to get the help. In fact, some of these products, the same numbers that end users will use to get support, it's the same number that we as dealers have to call, and we have to get in the queue and get in line just like everybody else. So it's frustrating for us because we want our customers to be able to have the reliability of their systems and to be able to do things when they need it and be able to put out any fires that come up. But sometimes our hands are tied because we don't have that level of support either. So if it's important that you have a problem that needs to be resolved quickly, then it may be worth considering spending a little more money for some of the higher end products and get that level of support that comes with a cost. It just does. It comes with a cost. And finally, this is not as big of an issue, but it's something to be aware of, and that is inter-product compatibility. And so what I mean by that is when you build a production control room environment, multi-cameras, audio, all different sorts of things, you're going to have dozens and dozens of manufacturers that are going to be involved into this entire system that always plays together. It's not always going to be one brand that does it all. But what you may be familiar with on some of the lower cost products, those brands do sometimes try to do it all, and that can be good and bad. I mean, for people that can work within those limitations, I think it's great. If you are happy with one manufacturer that does all your audio and cameras and switching and recording, those products are typically built to work together with their own brand for you to be able to have all of your products have the same manufacturer name on them. The problem is when you're trying to build a system with other products. Say that you're wanting to have a higher end camera, Sony cameras, Panasonic, and different things, and you have a switcher that's a different brand, and maybe your audio and your recording and video recording are going to be different brands. And so if you start mixing these brands together, it's really going to be important that those products are going to work together and be cohesive. And so the higher end brands are typically governed by something called SMPTE. And SMPTE sets standards that everybody lives by. So no matter what the brand is, nobody has their own little niche that only works with their products. Everything kind of plays together. The lower cost products don't typically run under those SMPTE standards, and they'll often make everything work just within their own brand. So you have to be okay with that. And ultimately what it really comes down to is understanding and knowing these limitations. And to take one of the things that we really enjoy doing is talking to you and kind of going over those things. So if you have an idea like, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm thinking this brand, I've watched videos on it, is this going to work? Can you guys help us with that? We will be glad to walk you through that process to make sure that A, you understand what limitations might come with buying some of the lower cost products and what the advantages are of maybe spending a little bit more money and getting some of the higher end products, or maybe mixing and matching. And so we'll help you navigate that and talk you through that and make sure that you're on a path for success so that you'll have a product that is going to be worth your investment, because let's face it, no matter which way you go, it's always a pretty sizable investment. So we want to make sure that we can help maximize that for you and that you get the most out of your system. So call us if you have any questions about this or any other products, or you're looking to do something specific. Let us help you at 1-877-81-TAKE-1. You can also email us at mail@takeone.tv. Well, if you like this video, check out our others. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We hope to see you again soon. Thanks.